So I made my Silver review video, and then I made my 30 Days Lean Angel review, and in both videos I asked you all to leave me a suggestion on what to review next. I got a lot for the Neon trailers or for the Team Dark trailers, but in the middle of it, I saw one person ask me to check out their own personal project that they were involved in. RWBY. Well, with a name like that, I gotta check it out, right? And so I was surprised that this fan animation was getting so few views, because it's really good and has a lot of promise. I was excitedly awaiting its first episode to drop the same day as Volume 8, and still, for how many people are putting their hearts and souls into this project, they're not getting nearly as many views or subs that they deserve. So I figured this time, rather than review one of the more popular suggestions, I'll take a look at the animation I think needs to be shown a bit more love. So the BWBY animations might stand out to you for one of two different reasons. First, this is the only fan animation I've come across that doesn't use 3D models. One of the most appealing elements to RWBY, especially when it was first introduced, was its stunning 3D animations. But I really like the simplified 2D style BWBY is using here. It's a lot more cartoony, and they can play around with squash and stretch a lot more. It's also nice because this helps make everyone look distinct. RWBY, and every other anime-style show I've ever seen, tends to suffer from same face syndrome. I like the style they have for everyone in BWBY. It looks nice, bright, and punchy. Now, it's clear the character design is somewhat styled after some other animations. Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Adventure Time, and Gravity Falls. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing. One of the easiest ways to improve your animation skills is by mimicking a style of a different show. That way you can compare and contrast what you're doing versus how the show is doing it. Then you can start branching out into your own unique style. Hell, the person who animated the Mystery Skulls music videos got started by making My Little Pony fan animations. And the second thing BWBY does different from other animations is the fact that it's a parody. Very similar to an abridged series, and I love this. Choosing to animate their own parody version of the show means they can play around a lot more with changing up the story or characters to better fit their comedic narrative. And it helps avoid the issue of getting struck with a copyright claim. And I think it's a good thing to poke fun at the show. RWBY has been shown to be very funny whenever it gets spoofed. Whether it's fan comics poking fun at our characters, or even Jello Apocalypse's Crow yelling out, "Why is my name spelled with a Q?" I think it's very healthy to make some fun out of the things you love. After all, RWBY does have some glaring flaws, and it's refreshing to see, rather than someone making another biting criticism video about its flaws, using those flaws as fuel for comedy. So BWBY actually has its own 4 versions of the trailers, and as of right now, it has 1 official episode out as well. So we might as well start at the beginning and take a look at what BWBY has to offer. The BWBY Red trailer is really just a shot-for-shot remake of the original Red trailer, only it stops just before she actually gets to fight the Beowulfs. Really, it's more of a proof of concept for the animation rather than telling us what the style of comedy is going to be, but I kinda like that. The original trailer was also just a proof of concept that didn't tell us what the show proper was going to be like either. It's nice and pretty well polished. The BWBY White trailer is similarly just an animation test. At least that's how I see it. It's just Weiss singing to a crowd. It definitely feels like this is just to give us an example on what their animations for their bodies and facial expressions are going to look like. The BWBY Black trailer is when we finally start to see a glimpse at what the comedy is going to be like.
Oh no, Adam, the train disconnected. Looks like I'm stuck.
What are you talking about? Just jump over!
No, I can't. I guess I have no choice but to leave the White Fang and break up with you.
I think it's the funniest trailer out of the 4. This is also the first time we're getting real voice acting, and Blake's voice actress is really good. She was also the one who reached out to me and left that comment to check out BWBY in the first place. Keep up the good work, you're doing a great job. Finally, we get to the last trailer, BWBY's Yellow trailer.
Tell me where I can find her and I'll let you go.
Isn't that just you with black hair?
Yang's voice actress is also very good. Just like the original trailer, Yang is here looking for info on her mom, but in this trailer she's running around crushing everyone's nuts, just like how she does with Junior in the beginning. So I'm gonna be honest, I really hate this strobing effect throughout this, I guess I'll call this a fight. Maybe it's just me. After all, I have very thick glasses and really bad astigmatism, but this really hurts my eyes. It makes it really hard to watch. So the punchline of this joke never lands because of just how irritating it is to look at. And to be fair, the nut-grabbing gag wasn't even that good of a joke to begin with. I like the rest of the trailer. The bear head gag and the Doom homage are funny visuals. My problem is, literally the ball crushing thing is the only joke they're making. Now, comedy is super subjective, and it's really hard to critique comedy because a joke that flops for me might send someone else roaring with laughter. So, take my critique with a grain of salt. Personally, I think a joke that gets stretched out as long as this one has tends to lose its humor very quickly. Jesus, with one shot, BWBY has already done a better job portraying honest racism than the real show. Damn, this hits hard. Holy fuck.
Melanie, is that the prostitute that's sexually harassing our staff?
Okay, that's funny. The self-reflection makes the nut-crushing gag land a little bit better. So, now that we've covered all 4 trailers and got a glimpse of our 4 main girls, let's see how the first official episode of BWBY is going to be. We start out with a pretty good-looking remake of the original opening narrative with Salem talking about the creation of man. Only here, she's more talking about the creation of the actual show of RWBY.
Man was no longer able to ignore the many plot holes and inconsistencies. The once thriving and prosperous community dissolved into toxic.
Oof, I didn't know we were going to be starting out by dropping truth bombs here. Oh no. Listen, I get that it's really easy to make a joke about Ruby's voice being annoying. Ruby's voice is really high-pitched and kind of screechy in the show. I get the idea of this joke is they're trying to just overdo it to highlight that aspect of Ruby's character, but I really don't want our main character to have an annoying, caterwauling voice like this.
Did you just assume my gender?
Ugh, it's like, it would be fine if they just toned it down a little bit, especially when Ruby's screaming. So the whole episode is really similar to how the original episode 1 plays out. Ruby fights Torchwick, Glinda and Oz interrogate her, Ruby gets to go to Beacon. There's even a couple of moments where it's one-to-one with the show, whether it's a shot comparison or just the lines they have here and there.
You have silver eyes.
And that's what we got so far, and honestly, I'm pretty excited to see what they have planned for next. Once we finally get all 4 RWBY girls together, I think they'll be able to play around a lot more with their jokes. As for what we've got, it's really good. I hope the BWBY crew don't feel like they have to stick too close to the visuals of the show. The fun of this project is that since they're animating it themselves, they can really go all out with changing up the story and events. I know I only talked about the jokes that didn't work for me, but that's because it's really hard to talk about good comedy other than just saying, it's good, I like it. I also didn't want to spoil too many of the jokes. It's more fun if you get to watch it yourself. But for the most part, I do really like the comedy.
Cookies!
Sure. Okay, it's not like I brought a tray of cookies for everybody.
I also hope BWBY doesn't rely too heavily on meta jokes. Both the opening sequence and Ruby's interrogation featured really long segments of making meta jokes about Rooster Teeth. I'm fine with making these jokes, but I can see this concept very quickly getting overplayed in the future. The only other big gripe I have is that they need to do some work with their sound mixing. Ozpin is really quiet compared to RWBY, and Ruby is just generally a lot louder than most of the other characters. Some tweaks here and there is really all they need. But honestly, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what else they're gonna do with their characters, and I know they'll keep improving their animations and their comedy. They really do deserve a lot more views. I mean, look at this. They've animated 4 trailers and an episode, and this is how many subs they're getting? Please, do them a favor and head over to their channel to check them out. I have links to all their trailers and their first episode in the description and in the iCard on screen. Go and show them some love because they deserve it. Thank you for watching this video, and a quick shout out to my $10 patrons. You're all amazing. Nako, Michael, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, and G Extreme. In the comments, I want to know, have you seen BWBY? Go ahead and please, I do mean it, go check them out. Give them a subscription, give them some more views, because they deserve it. It's not easy animating as much as they have animated for their parody, and they deserve a lot more love. Let me know what you think of BWBY in general. Do you think it's funny? Do you agree or disagree with me with certain jokes and things? Any and all thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments, and I would love to hear more things. Like, I know I mentioned neon and dark in the beginning of this video, and so what other things would you like me to review next? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.